My eyes are on fire. These words fill my mind as I reach the next stage of Balloon Tower Defense 5. And in the corner of my eye, I catch the blue, faint aura of my alarm clock as it reads 2:38 a.m. The time proceeds to flock and fly away like geese chased by children. I embrace the comforting, crushing feeling of a weighted blanket as I hear, "Wake up!" as my mother calls me for breakfast. I was a goblin. Not an actual goblin. I don't have olive green skin or elf ears, but a broom goblin. I would walk in the shadows of my house, raiding my pantry of cup noodles and other goodies to satiate me throughout the night. My room was my labyrinth. It was constructed out of piles of dirty clothes, empty water bottles, and everything unholy. In my kingdom of trash, I was king. Now, to be frank, that's both a disgusting and unhealthy way to live, but I did it because of two reasons. I was struggling, and I lost hope. As we all went to quarantine, most of us didn't turn into human-sized street rats. But I did, because I lost all purpose. I was like a car that ran out of gasoline. I just stalled and sat there until my paint chipped away and my newly uncovered exterior rusted. I didn't really feel human. I mean, human beings are the people that climbed Everest, walked on the moon, weaponized splitting an atom, while only being fueled by hard work, grit, and determination. I don't have any of that. I can't do any of that. And it's this disconnection with what I felt made people that made me feel less human and more vile, disgusting, sniveling, like a goblin. And it's this disconnection that had me go into the next stage of my own anguish. Intense numbness. It's kind of hard to describe how to feel a lot of nothing, but I'll try my best. The bright yellow of joy, the deep maroon of anger, the light baby blue of sadness, all bleeds to a singular dull gray melancholy. The sweet creaminess of Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia, the salty savory flavor of lamb dumplings become no different than the bland nothingness of porridge. My body would switch between intense pulses of numbness and fast twitches that crawled up my skin like bugs. I was a sandcastle in the high tide of life, and each crashing wave broke me down bit by bit. I was dying, and I hated myself because of it. I began my journey of recovery when my friends held an intervention. They asked me what was going on. I didn't have an answer, but I knew, no, I had to get better for them. So I did the first thing that everyone was doing: TikTok trends. However, my whipped coffee was always a little too bitter, and my sourdough starter went rancid. But on this journey, I found a new love: gardening. As I was in the supermarket trying to shop for a variety of different materials to concoct whatever came up on my For You page, I saw a bulletin board filled with seed packets. I decided to pick up a couple and take my shot at gardening. I was bad. Like really bad. Like bad to the point where my ancestors, who are literally rice paddy farmers, were hanging their heads at my own ineptitude. But after days of perfectly balancing the sunlight, water, and fertilizer, I woke up to the smallest, tiniest, most minuscule tomato plants beginning to sprout. It was beautiful. Now, a lot of people don't get why I got so involved in gardening. I mean, on paper it sounds awful, but so much time and effort into this inanimate thing that can't even love you back. You can pet a dog, play with a cat, do whatever the hell people do to fish, fish. But if I started to walk around with my eucalyptus plant or go on morning runs with my orchid lily, I would end up on Dr. Phil. But no matter how much it seemed to suck, there was something about cutting off wilted leaves, digging through the dirt till it caked underneath my fingernails, and burning in the sun for my own stubbornness to put on sunscreen that really hit me. I loved the routine. I would wake up in the morning for classes, check how my little guys were doing, go do said Zoom classes, and during the dead periods of class and the 10-minute passing periods, I would sneak water, food, and other goodies. No matter what was going on in my life, they were always there, and I needed to take care of them. And no matter how bad things got, I stayed alive because they needed me. Remember earlier when I said that plants can love you back? That's wrong. No matter how little love I gave myself or how much self-hatred I held, those plants taught me that I can still be good because I am capable of giving the love I never gave myself because my love allowed those plants to grow and flourish. And if that doesn't show love back, I don't know what does. As I began to talk to professionals about my issues, what I was experiencing was not being a goblin, it was depression. I am still human, one that was in mental anguish, but still human. My original definition of what made people people is extremely wrong. Being human isn't about having Herculean strength or motivation to do impossible tasks. It's about surrounding yourself with the things and people that make you feel whole. It's about those coping mechanisms that allow you to go through the sucky parts of life. That's why some people smoke. That's why others pray to a god. That's why I garden. Now, I probably sound a little insane right now, but aren't we all? Well, it's been nearly 2 years since this journey began. And it hasn't been easy, and it hasn't been consistent. It's been 2 years of cuts and band-aids, sobriety and relapse, rises and falls, and everything in between. But after all of that, I can feel. After 2 years of numbness, I can finally feel, and that is a feeling more wonderful than any in the world. It's like flight after being shackled. It's like the first dew after heavy droughts. It's like living after being dead. Despite being a proud pessimist, I can say it does get better. Sure, maybe it happens in a way that's not expected, and that point of happiness you always wanted might be a little different. but still better. As I close off the last monologue I'll ever give on the stage, I would like to say a couple of thank yous. To Mr. Rossi, thank you for directing a production that allows students to share the most intricate and delicate parts of themselves to an audience. To Yashis, Ella, and everyone else I hold dear, thank you for teaching me how to be good and for being there for me. If I were you guys, I would have been insane. And to gardening, thank you, forever and always.